Howdy everybody, Steve here, KM9G. Today we've got solar panels and a glorious sunny day. Let's do some solar stuff. Love me some blue skies. These are big boys. Make sure you got plenty of room to get these things from the shipping station back to the lifestyle of your choice. Mine happens to be on the road. These are from Allpowers, and these should be 200 watts, and there should be two of them. But I'm not 100% sure until I actually get the box open. So that's what we're gonna do. Don't worry, they aren't this big. They just ship very well. It's not that my knife is dull, it's that they've actually put the plastic stuff. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You know that little plastic webbing strapping stuff that they use? They put that in two different spots on the box, hence the vertical tape stripes, to make sure it doesn't come apart in shipping. I told you these guys pack well. There we go. Yeah. All right, so what do we get for accessories? This is pretty neat. The accessories that we get are these straps, and I'll show you where these straps go in a bit. And then we also get an XT60 to MC4 connector for our charging cable, and that will be important also in a minute. And of course, instructions, but who reads instructions? This is the APSF200, so this is the 200 watt panel. Perfect. Let me get this box out of the way. The owner's manual is actually pretty good, and here is a good example. It tells you how to wire these things in series and in parallel. One of the things that's kind of missing is what will happen when you wire them in series and parallel, but it can be done, and there are other places where this can be demonstrated and found out about. These straps are pretty strong. They are of the hook and loop one wrap style variety, and what they're designed to do is go through these grommets here, so that way you can use this as a potential method of fastening it to whatever you want to fasten it to. Or you can use these for other projects. On the back side of the solar panel is all of the information that you're gonna need. And what good would solar be without some place to put it and without some way to get it there? And by it and there, I mean charge controller and battery. All right, I told you it was a big boy. This box, I told you also, Allpowers ships really well. This box is 42 pounds. So, you know, maybe have a friend help you lift the thing up or not. It's up to you. I could pick it up by myself, but that's all up to you and where you are. It's just kind of big and bulky and heavy. Be careful out there. Pocket knife in hand. I use this thing like every day now. Oh yeah. They really do put a lot of attention to detail into their packaging. This is a box full of accessories. It says, keep your Allpowers packages and accessories. Enjoy 24-month warranty. It's got a number there for control purposes, and then support at allpowers.com for return. Not a bad idea, because if you had to reship this thing back to them, you'd have a lot of trouble finding a box that can handle the weight and the dimensions. It would actually be very expensive to do that. So hold on to the box, at least for the first 2 years. All right, it turns out that that wasn't a little box on top of a big box. That was a big box inside of a bigger box. So watch this magic trick for getting this big heavy box out of this, what will soon become a very lightweight empty box. I'm gonna fold back the flaps, and I'm going to flip it over on its head, and then we'll just pick the box right up off the top of it. There we go. And now I got some trash to pick up. Ooh, it's pretty. Let's see what we got inside of this thing here, now that we can get to the point where we can actually open it and do something useful with it. Claim your warranty, and there is some warranty information in here, I'm sure, and also the owner's manual for this. So we'll hold on to that. Some air holes so that doesn't get stuck in the way. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. They sent over a cover to keep this thing covered up when it's not in use. That's pretty cool. It's like a little protection bag. I like it. One of the other things that Allpowers does that's neat is the accessories for the batteries come in a bag that holds things. And you know me and bags, I love me some bags. What do we have in here? PC style power cord for plugging it into the wall and charging from the wall. Another set of XT60 to MC4 connectors for connecting to solar panels. And then this is pretty cool, XT60 to cigarette lighter power plug inside your car to charge it while you're driving. And now the moment we've all been waiting for, let's get this battery out of here. Bam! Looks good. All right, and here we are with it all the way out of the box. And do a quick walkthrough on the front. You have 4 AC outlets. You have a 12-volt socket. So if you did plug this thing into your car, you can replug whatever it is that you were going to plug in right there. 2 USB Type-C, 4 USB Type-A connectors, and these are actually kind of interesting because these 2 are black, which leads me to believe they are lower power, and these 2 are blue, which leads me to believe they are higher power. We'll check on that in a minute. And then you have your XT60 power input. And then this looks like it is the screen piece, which probably came off in shipping. Let's cover that back up. There we go. And then a screen protector on top of it. Oh yeah, nice and clean. All right, we are outdoors in this thing's natural environment. Let's turn it on and see if we have a charge. And we have a 74% charge, 0 watts out. And you guys might be able to see that on the screen through the camera. And it's telling me it has 3 days and 15 hours of remaining charge. I can believe that. In order to charge this thing up, there is your XT60 port on the front there to shove in from your solar. We'll do that in just a second. Turn on the AC output. You hear a little fan kick in, and then it's 60 hertz pure sine wave out. Turn that back off, and then turn on the DC. And then if you hold this in for a while, it will turn on the Bluetooth, so you can monitor this thing remotely. And there's your Bluetooth setup. We'll show you that also. The back side of this thing, there ain't much going on here except for the power input from charging it from the wall socket inside your house. And then on the bottom side, we have all of the information that you never knew you wanted to know. Capacity, 405,405 milliamp hours, or 1,500 watt hours. So that to me would be 405 amp hours. We'll have to check that out. AC output continuous 2,000 watts, or surge to 4,000 watts. So you would be able to power your laptop off of this, and with a continuous 2,000 watts, you can power quite a lot of things, even like a little AC unit on this thing. Carport output, 13 volts, 10 amps. Good stuff. And then there she is with the cover on. It's a little awkward getting the cover on, but there is a little zipper over here to make it easier for you to get her undressed. All right, let's get this thing charging by solar power. Turn the power off and see what happens if we do it with the power off. XT60 cable goes in the front. MC4 connectors off to the side. All right, she's already charging. Let's take a look at the screen. All right, it's easier to see in person than it is to see on the camera, but out of our 200 watt solar panel, we're currently getting 153, 154 watts. We're at about 157 watts right now, and that's not a terrible angle. Let me show you the sun that we're working with from the perspective of the panel. And then we look up, and there she is. So pretty close to full sun. There are quite a few reasons why you get a 200 watt panel and you won't get a full 200 watts out of it. It's not really a defect in the panel. It has a lot to do with the angle of the sun, the temperature of the panel, the amount of shade over top of the panel, and all kinds of things like that. This panel will work in partial shade, so it's actually better than most. And as a result of that, you'll be able to get a lot of power out of it. Again, we're at about 158 right now. And I bet if I was able to set this thing up a little bit better with a little bit better stand, you could get even more than that. This is a fantastic amount of solar to be getting out of a panel. I'm gonna get this all packed up and get back to the ham shack, and we'll run some runtime tests on it, as well as some what can you do with it type scenarios. One of the things you guys might have noticed, because nothing gets by you, is that this solar panel is flexible. So if you have like a non-flat RV roof or a non-flat roof on your truck, or just a non-standard, non-flat place you need to install this, it'll work. It'll go around some mild bends, and that is pretty important. I mean, you can also install it flat if you want to be like all the regular people too. Now that we're back inside, I can get you a better look at the display. We have almost 400 watts going in from the AC power cord. We're at 77%. It's telling me with its current zero load, we're gonna get 920 hours and 45 minutes out of it. And it's fluctuating a little bit because, you know, charging. Remember that Bluetooth button I showed you earlier? We're gonna see just what it does right now by launching the Bluetooth app on the phone. All right, there is the Bluetooth app for your phone. It is called Allpowers, oddly enough. Allpowers app for Allpowers gear. Wise choice. Let's open it up. Let's connect to a Bluetooth device. And then for some reason, Bluetooth devices want to use location. I'm going to choose approximate, and then while using the app, and then I can turn that off later. No devices found. Click the icon above to search again. Bluetooth, next step. All right, there she is. Allpowers S2000 V2.0. And there it is, remaining time at 80%, 479 hours, 52 minutes, or 19 days and 32 hours. Of course, we're not actually using anything right now, which is why the output shows 0 watts right here. 400 watts of input. I can turn on and off all of the different features from the front here. I can set it for 50 hertz if I'm in the UK. I'm not. I'm at 60 hertz in the US here. I can turn on the AC, I can turn off the AC, I can turn on and off the DC, and then when there are actually devices attached to it that have a load, it will show me the load and give me an estimate of its remaining runtime. It's a neat informational app. It is not required to get it done, and I did have to turn on location permissions in order for it to find the device. Let's turn the location permissions off and see if it will still work now that it's found the device. So don't allow. Yeah, and at this time it has forgotten the device. So you need to turn on your location stuff. I have no idea why it's necessary to find a Bluetooth device. I'm gonna reach out to them and ask them to stop doing that because it's within Bluetooth range. It's 30 feet from me. You don't need to know my location. I bet you were wondering how I was gonna make this relevant to ham radio. Check this out. We've got the Allpowers S2000 power supply, solar generator, power station, whatever you wanna call this thing. Battle station's what I prefer. We've got the Astron 35 amp power supply. We've got the Yaesu FT100DR 100 watt HF radio. Actually, it's 100 watt HF, VHF, and UHF radio. We've got the watt meter, and we got the dummy load on top. First thing I want to do is turn on the solar generator, the power station, the battle station. This is hard to see on camera, but very easy to see on my eyes here. I want to turn on DC power. DC power is going to power up our cigarette lighter plug, which is going to power up our power meter. Then I'm going to turn on, I'm going to wait for the truck to go by. Then I'm going to turn on AC power. And AC power is going to power our power supply, the Astron RS35A. And now our radio is on. We're at 14,200 and we are in FM mode to make sure we get full power out. And it reset its power. Dagnabbit, Yaesu. HFTX power, up to 100. There we go. 96.25 watts out and 1.01 to 1 SWR. Let's take a look down here at our power station. It's showing 337 watts out. Nice. So this is the power cord for our meter. This is the power cord for our power supply. You can tell it's white there, and it is white there. And then we've got the radio plugged in directly to the power supply, and then there is all of our coax and dummy load connections. Here's where the rubber meets the road. My friend Jim over at FEP Labs let me borrow his CBA from West Mountain Radio, computerized battery analyzer. And what that thing does is it is a power load. It converts electricity into heat and then blows it all throughout the room with a fan. And what I was able to do was plug this thing into the cigarette lighter plug on the front because it doesn't have any other real DC output. I mean, it's got a couple of USB ports on it, but it's not the same thing, right? So the DC power out plug connected into the battery analyzer, and then we started doing some draw. I came over and I checked to see if it was warm or not, and it was pretty warm. So I had to stop the test, recharge the battery, and then restart the test at a lower amp draw. So we're drawing like 5 amps, and this thing is supposed to be 405 amp hours. Later on, I realized that that was rated at 3.7 volts. So what is it at 12 volts? So we'll figure it out. You'll see some spikes on the chart. That's from where I touched it. That's from where I stopped the test in order to like go to bed or something. I didn't want this thing running overnight and burning my house down. It didn't, but you still worry about these things. And then I accidentally did the wrong thing with the test. So now you're going to see a chart where you have the first chart, and then if you look back at the beginning side of the graph, you'll see a green bar, and the green bar is where the test started a second time. So, oops. So if we take a look at the numbers, 20 amp hours plus 70 amp hours is 90 amp hours. And given the conversion to heat going on in the wire and some other inefficiencies, it's actually pretty close to a 100 amp hour battery. I can't say what it exactly is because it's kind of a ghetto test with the cigarette lighter plug adapter thingy going into power poles, going into the CBA tester. And so the answer that I was looking for is, how big is it at 405 amp hours? And I was really expecting this thing to take like a week, thinking it was 405 at 12 volts. It's 405 at 3.7. Rough math turns that into 100, and it's 90, and again, some of that went up in heat, so I think it's good. The combination of the battery and the solar panel and the electrical outlets and everything, if I was just running the 100-watt radio and I was full key down FM at 100 watts, it would be about 3.5 to 4 hours of runtime. That's not bad. I mean, I'm not going to key down for 4 hours straight on FM output. That's not going to happen. So maybe double that to 8 hours, maybe be conservative and call it 6 hours, maybe bring a fan and keep yourself cool, or a blender and make some margaritas or whatever. But it'll be a fun day at the park for, 3 to 4 hours worth of activation time, and it will do anything else that you need to throw at it. The solar panel, if you plug that in, will keep you running all day long. I don't think you can ham radio or drink margaritas that long. What do y'all think? There are some links down in the description below, and if you want to see somebody do weird things with solar generators, then this is the channel for you. Be sure you are subscribed. There's a video right over here I think you'll enjoy next. Thanks for being awesome. I'll see you over there.